As I get older, I'm starting to, concern myself with things that, in the world we live in, things that truly matter for that, as far as the world. I'm coming to terms with the fact that, I have personal goals I've been chasing my whole life to be successful for personal reasons. You know, I don't know if it's coming down to real some kind of self-worth or, my place in society or how people view me. Why people do it, but most of the time it's just for me to improve me, and the greatest freedom in the world, like Dorian Yates said, was not giving a shit about what anybody thinks, and just that's freedom, as long as it's in a positive manner. I'd say don't give a shit what people think and then go do acts of violence or some shit. By no means. He means, not caring, just doing what you got to do, no matter what the naysayers say. I've been on this bodybuilding journey, music journey for over 20 years, lots of ups and downs, but I'm coming to a point in my life where I've always been aware, don't get me wrong, I've always been a kind, sensitive, compassionate human being. But with today's social media and stuff, with all the videos I see on animal abuse and the way people are treating one another, treating animals, treating everything in this world. I'm not saying all of you, but there's a large portion of people who treat their life like a burden. They treat their lives they have no regard for any life, period, let alone their own. People you can look around you, the self-destruction is horrible. Just in my community alone, I can see it. The lack of hope, faith, of anything. They're just waking up. They treat their lives like a true burden. Nothing stimulates, nothing motivates, and nothing inspires. And that's just existence for the sake of existence, which is very, very bleak, very dark it can be. I don't know the answers to that, but my point is, how do you, I'm coming to terms with life, about my life. How can I make a difference in the world? How can I make this world a better place? That's a heavy burden to ask. When you see all these acts of violence or acts of, and you see the way the world functions and just the way we're so consumed with our own regular life, it takes so much of our time. I'm not making excuses, but for the people who actually are in those fields, as far as the people actually do save and help animals and have the resources, and whether that be their job, all the power to them, because they're doing something of importance that really matters, because you got to speak up for the voiceless. But I think we could all do something, together, if we just come to terms. It's all about awareness. You think about the average day, truthfully, I'm just a common sense kind of guy. I'm not coming off trying to sound intelligent. I'm just trying to come off as a person, of a basic background as far as, communicating with, the average human being out there. You go to work every day. I'm working 2 jobs, let alone you got personal goals. You want things, you want to do, you want to get a better life, whatever it is. And the sad part is that comes to making more money, or to me, I'm not a materialistic guy. Having more doesn't mean more. It doesn't at all. And, I can never get everything right in what I want to say with these vlogs. But, because my mind works at 100 miles per hour a minute with thoughts. And I'll look back and go, man, I should have said this or I shouldn't have said that. But, I'm just going off the cuff. So, but my point is, I'm coming to terms, with age, just what can I do? What when I die, what are people going to say about me, as far as, or what am I going to think about myself on my dying days? Did I do enough? Did I help enough? The world's full of chaos, as far as what people are doing, and it all comes down to things like money, what people will do. Because the way that the things work, the powers that be, I hate to use that word, people are like, what do you mean by the powers that be? Well, the people who are in control of things, that 5% of billionaires who own the world, and the people have the power to commit these acts and put us in a situation where pretty much we're just surviving. Jobs, you name it. Think about it. Just think about it for a moment how focused you are. You're working 8 hours a day, sometimes more if you're working 2 jobs. mean, who's got time to save animals or get on, or, most you can do is maybe donate, and then you really don't even know where your money is going. Actually be there. Actually to do something, help somebody, educate. And that's what it comes down to, too, is a lot of the people are divided because it is down to education. And a lot to do with backgrounds, and it goes so in depth. But there are real problems out there. There's kids who aren't getting properly educated in how to deal with their emotions and how to deal with their feelings. And so they act out and they don't know. You'd be surprised, dealing with your emotions. People act out in violence. They hurt people. They hurt animals because they're full of rage. And it comes down to sometimes they think it's materialism or, this or that. And nobody's willing to lend a helping hand. It's like a rat race out there. Everybody's out for their own piece of the pie, and that's the way this world seems to be structured, and we don't unite. Eventually, I'm putting a video out like this out of what about your children? It's not so much about me, but can the world really keep going the way it is? I mean, seriously. We've been doing the same thing for hundreds of years now. The same system. Don't you think it's time for a change? Seriously? In all aspects of life? In order to let alone save this earth. Let's be honest, we're killing us as human beings. For some reason, we feel like we're the superior race as far as everything goes. The survival of the fittest, all that shit, whatever. Where is you want to be a superior race? Where's your compassion? Where's your acts of kindness and heart? You let all that other crap cloud your brain, like money, social status, where you're going in life. It really comes down to it. What does that stuff really mean? It's the acts of kindness, the love, the support, the helping of one another, educating. If you're far more superior in education than someone else, instead of belittling them and breaking them down and calling them a, whatever, bad race or a bad set of people, which we all are in many aspects, or a culture or whatever, you know what I'm getting at. Instead of, why don't you try to help educate? That's what I try to do in a simple manner. And I know it's hard. But somehow, set up programs, do something. We got to do something, as us, as people. Because the people, the powers that be, we'll leave it at that, the names, they're not going to give a shit. They're all about, in the end, getting whatever they can out of us to get us to buy their products, get us to buy whatever it is, or get us to sell us and just keep us under control to the point where we don't have time to focus on these things. You got to work 2 jobs. You got to pay those student loans. You got to pay your rent. You got to pay your bills. Then on top of that, you got to save up money for your goals. I ain't got time to do this. I ain't got time to do that. And all while this is happening and the wheels are spinning and you're trying to find some kind of happiness, there's violence and suffering. And I'm not saying it's anybody's problem. Everybody has the right to live their own life. But these problems do add up. And it's just not about you or me. You bring children into this world, and eventually these problems will spread enough. That's what the world's going to be. And our children are going to grow up in a place where it's not very happy. It gets worse each day. And I'm not here to be negative. I'm here to bring awareness so we can make changes. That's why I always have to be the better man in any situation. Use my intelligence. Use my common sense of understanding human nature. I understand violence because I was born in violence. I understand not having anything because I was born in a place where I didn't have anything. I didn't have any support, I can understand those things. And I educated myself, and I began to understand why those people are the way they are. With parents, growing up with just a bad cycle of drug addiction and just people overworking and unhappy with what they're working, being uneducated, feeling cheated out of life, feeling their life is a burden, no self-worth, just no understanding of oneself. And no guidance, no help. And I'm not saying, everybody should, lend a helping hand. You got to help yourself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. You should work for everything you got. But there's a fine line to everything. And I just, I'm not going to sum up everything I want to sum up right now. But I'm just trying to shed a tiny bit of light on what is going on. And I just see sadness. I get sad every time I see it. Something I can't do or something. Why do you think I post all these things about animals and stuff? And if that's really the route people are going, it's horrible. The acts of violence, you see it, the way people are just, eventually it's going to add up. You can stay in your safe haven. If we can make any type of small change, let's do. The only way we're ever going to make true change is we as the people unite, and that's the way it's going to be, and come to terms with something, and realize, hey, this is not working anymore. But who am I? I'm just some dude sitting in my kitchen making a YouTube video, right? Just words. I understand. We need action. But I wish everybody always the best. Take care. Just, spread a little love, spread a little kindness, spread a little helping hand. It goes a long ways. And I know there's people who, just take and take and take. But, just remember, it's worth a shot. And, we got to think about what kind of reality our kids will live in. Because having kids is a very serious matter. And it's a very responsible matter, which I don't think in this day and age we take seriously either. I mean, people have kids like it's just there's a rule book or a handbook to life where it says, get job, have kids, blah, blah, blah. The routine. Get a house, buy a car. I mean, and then that's existence. That's your reality. And then people wonder why they're not happy at all. I mean, because most of the time, people are having kids for all the wrong reasons. Sometimes things happen, but there's a lot of irresponsibility involved too. Sad to say, some people have kids let alone just for income tax money. And that's horrible to bring a life into this world for all these different circumstances, either for more money or whatnot, or just not even having any understanding that, this is a life. A life that one day you might not even be in because, you never know what's going to happen to you. A life you got to take responsibility for by educating, making them aware, showing them, love and compassion and having them come to an understanding about, the way things work, how to, just being aware, bringing awareness. But people just I hear them talk about having kids, and it's like, you know what, there's so many problems in the world. I mean, do you understand what kind of world you're eventually going to bring them into? And I'm not trying to distract anybody from having kids. There are people who give kids loving, and being a happy, loving family and parents is, great, but you can't protect them from the world and the majority of people who are just, and it's hard to, keep your kids full of faith and love and hope when you're surrounded by a lot of people, that's just, I don't know, maybe this video is in a negative light, but I try to be positive, boys, but, with the way things are going, and you see it, but you choose to ignore it. I mean, we're all guilty of ignoring the facts of what's going on, so I just always want to make videos, of just trying to bring awareness and just help. It's overwhelming. There's you got the weight of the world. Sometimes I feel like I'm just this guy, man. I go to my job and that, but I feel like I got the weight of the world on my shoulders because, how do you put it? I know this is going to sound funny, but it's like the X-Men, Dr. Xavier, man, when he's in that, machine and he feels and sees all this pain and sadness, and it's just so overwhelming. You got no control. All you want to do is help. When I see an animal suffering, all I want to do is help. When I see some child suffering, all I want to do is help. I hate to see, lives that just get forgotten or don't matter. I know what it feels like that, where your existence is just feels unimportant. And you just go through the motions. It's like Groundhog's Day every day. I mean, personally, on your own level, you got to make your life important and do something with it. And that's what it really comes down to. I guess this video is for me personally, feeling like I wish I could just do more to help more. I'm not here to make anybody feel guilty. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad about their life. I'm just here to, maybe bring awareness, and maybe we can all just shed a little light on some stuff and start thinking a little more and just being aware more. So I wish everybody the best. Peace.